don't just talk stuff and repeat.
Wow. Thanksgiving Eve.
What the fuck?
Mercury's retrograde.
I know it's over the 29th, so we got a couple days, but we're all talking about gratitude tonight because it's Thanksgiving Eve. So tonight on Leading Out Loud, stay tuned.
We're so grateful.
I don't just talk stuff and repeat stuff. I'm living this stuff.
And you can thank me for covering your Astro.
Leading out loud. Leading out loud. We're leading out loud.
Hello, friends. Welcome to the Sagittarius season, and welcome to Leading Out Loud, the spiritual shift show that's dynamic and deep. I'm psychic astrologer Christopher Oteki, the sensei to SiriusJoy.com.
And I'm Scott Cruz, psychic medium and mentor with ScottCruzPM.com. So the question remains: How was this week? How was this week for you? Now we're kind of, and it doesn't retrograde end on the 29th. This one particularly, the Mercury retrograde.
I don't remember the date.
It's the 29th.
I think so.
Yeah.
No.
So it's
this week.
cuckoo.
Yeah. Well, it's been cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I spent the last week on the toilet or in bed. Yeah. Do I look good?
It's got a bedpan. You have to get up.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, it goes along with something I've been predicting, which is that we have to flush out of our body all these things we've gone through this year. Like I believe that spiritual memory is stored in water and in fat, actually. That's what I believe. And no, I'm not kidding. It's stored in fat. I think water. Well, Dr. Emoto, are you familiar with his work?
Yes, with the water, and you can see the different.
I love you, water. Yeah.
Well, not only did they show water holds memory, so does rice. They did it with rice too, and they with plants. They did like positive plant, negative plant. They talk like they damned that plant to hell, and then the other plant they love it, and the plant died. The other one grew. That rice, when they did the negative stuff, the rice was moldy. The other one was fresh. So I mean, there's just some power behind that.
You know what they have in common? Water.
Water. I
think it's water. I'm sure it's water. There's something very special about water.
Totally.
What are you talking about? Well, no, but I believe so. Anyways, I think whenever you go through like a real spiritual epiphany, you release all that water out of your body that has that stored. Anything that's not that's the old vibration. And so people usually manifest flu, whatever. I didn't even manifest. I didn't even have a fever. I was just like releasing like crazy for like 4 days. So I'm just on the bounce back from that. It was tough, but I came to some amazing epiphanies about me believing in myself. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the same. I mean, I know how to treat these retrogrades, but just not doing much. So I'm like, all right, just being creative. I'm not going to push much this. It's funny because I was seeing nothing but the synchronicity, the one every hour on the hour, the 555, 444, 333. So it's almost like universe winking saying, yeah, just take a chill pill right now during this time, as I have been. So Eric's like, you've been like more relaxed than usual. It's like, because I understand how to deal with the currents.
Well, it's helpful. I've certainly been forced to relax. I feel like the new world is slower. And so honestly, even though like the energy is speeding up, like vibrationally, like the activity is slowing down. I think we're doing less and enjoying more and, smelling the roses, that sort of thing. So, I'm prepared for that. I'm prepared for some food tomorrow. I love food. I'm a foodie. So I'm excited about that. Yeah. Love food as a Taurus. So yeah. So it's been interesting nonetheless. And things are starting to change. I mean, we'll talk about it in our today's planets. Our show today is about gratitude. But first we have our top headlines from the week just to see what the fuck.
That's a good way to put it. It's about the way I put it.
What's going on? Zohran Mamdani, newly elected mayor of New York City. Mamdani, forgive me.
New York City.
I will get this right by the time he leaves. Elected mayor of New York City meets with Trump in the Oval Office. Oh, interesting. Despite prior hostility, the meeting was cordial with a focus on shared priorities: affordability, housing, safety. Trump previously called Mamdani a 100% communistic lunatic, while Mamdani previously called Trump a despot and a fascist.
Despot. That's an interesting terminology.
Yeah. Well,
I don't
here
know.
we
It's
are hanging
interesting.
out.
It's interesting just to see how there's a meme going around with Trump kind of like looking at him like this, very kind of cuckoo. I don't know. I mean, there's so much stuff going on. I wouldn't be surprised if, say, Mondami was a conservative plant for to be a Democrat. Like, you never know how these things happen. Like, at this point, I'm like, you never know. This is just for shits and giggles. I'm not like actually reading that. I have to be clear, people watching. I'm not reading that. I'm just saying for shits and giggles. Imagine he was actually a conservative plant all along, and he's actually really a Trumper.
It's possible. I think the truth is going to really rock the world when it comes out about everything. I don't claim to know it, but I can feel that everything is false. So I know it's going to be a wowzer when it comes out. Interesting.
Yeah,
Well, I'm glad we're
charades.
getting along. I'm glad they're getting along because New York is in despot shape. All right.
Pretty much. I mean, that's where I was born. I was born in New York, so it's just kind of like it is not the same.
Not
It
the jewelry
used to
ones,
be.
too. No. LA's in the pics too. Yeah.
So I left there too.
Pete Hegseth, Secretary of War, orders investigation into U.S. Senator Mark Kelly for video urging U.S. service members to disobey, quote, unlawful orders. Supporters argue the video reflects service members' constitutional duty to refuse unlawful orders, while critics say it undermines a chain of command and could destabilize discipline in the armed forces. What do you intuit
It's all
about
theater. This is just all theater bullshit. I mean, I remember probably, weren't they that side saying the same thing about like don't obey unlawful orders? Like, I mean, so it's just a flip flopping of political theater to me. So
I do think it's political theater. I do think it's unfair to expect an armed forces person to know the Constitution and be able to determine what's lawful or not lawful in that moment.
I mean, hello.
It's like with the education you give them, and all you do is feed him crap and make him run laps. No, you don't make that person make that decision. I think the only unlawful thing they could do is like if they tell you to kill your fellow soldier, like that's obviously illegal. But other than that, the chain of command will not work unless it does. The problem is sometimes you only have a microsecond in order to live. So you cannot have anyone second guessing an order. You just cannot. You have to trust the person in front of you. That's just the way it works. So I think whatever it is.
I know. I mean, unlawful orders is unlawful orders. It's plain and simple. We have a constitution that supports and, that protects us from unlawful orders. And so wasn't it the same people that were talking about the Second Amendment because of a tyrannical government? So isn't the same people that were saying that now saying this stuff? So it's kind of just very contradictory to me, just political theater.
In the Cuban Missile Crisis, Kennedy ordered the ships to stand down and take another so many hundred feet away from the island, and they refused. And they lied to him and said they did it.
Mm-hmm.
Our military has lied to the chief, chief commander
Of course.
before. So it's not good, and that's at the top, y'all. That's at the top. All right,
Yep.
our next one. Let's see. Putin and Zelensky signal readiness to proceed with U.S.-backed 28-point peace plan. I wonder what those points are.
Meanwhile,
Includes contentious territorial concessions. Meanwhile, Russia launched its fresh missile strike on Ukraine's energy grids. Like, not yet. I've not signed yet.
just not yet. It's
Yeah.
coming.
I don't know.
Let's just get this in first. Look, I don't know why we're so wrapped up in that.
Because we're paying for it.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why we're so wrapped up into funding and supporting these things. It's like I thought it was supposed to be America first.
Oh well, no. You have to admit this is residue from the last. I mean, it seems like we've been in this habit for at least 6 years.
But that's my point. Like it's always a continuum. So it's not just this. It's every administration. Meddling.
I question the money. I wish someone would follow it. I question it. I don't doubt it comes right back to the senators who pushed the bill. I don't.
Oh, duh. Yeah, of course.
That's bullshit. Fire them all of them. Fire all of them. They're all fired.
It's just getting at this point. It's just getting ridiculous, and the people still chanting for Republican Democrat stuff. They're just dumb to me. It's just you can't be this stupid to really buy into this Republican Democrat charade. If you're still.
I'm with you.
You got to look at the bigger picture and look at, there are people who are actually genuine people in like lower levels of government that really trying to make change.
Yeah.
And these higher ups, no matter what side they're on, it's that's the enemy of the people for me, so they're not doing it.
Did you ever see House of Cards?
Yeah.
With Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
That was a very telling series. None of it was true, but it sure seemed like it could go that way. It sure seemed like
totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
It was spooky to watch. But anyways, and even spookier how it ended. All right. House, next one. House Oversight Committee subpoena Bill and Hillary Clinton investigating ties to Epstein's sex trafficking network. Threat of contempt of Congress, potential criminal referrals if they do not testify. Flight logs for Jeffrey Epstein's private jet show Bill Clinton traveled on Epstein's planes up to 27 times.
Yeah,
That's
we
a
knew
lot
that.
of airline miles. That's a lot of miles.
Yeah.
What are we
Well, I mean,
trading that in for?
it's a lot of years. I mean, for years. So, I mean, that's kind of a no-brainer. I mean, I think the whole Clinton, thing was exposed long ago. There's a lot of conspiracy theories, but there's always truth in conspiracy theories too. And so I always knew there's something. There's like a Clinton like body count, I think, at that time too. Anytime someone spoke against them, there was like a body count that they had. So there's some shitty shit all along these career politicians that I'm just ready to pluck them all out.
I moved to Arkansas in high school the year he was running for president. So I moved into this high school, and when I moved there, I didn't even know who he was. But before he even ran, there were rumors in the high school about him. Okay, amongst the high schoolers, you know what I mean? Like when the governor would come to town, like so it was like the man's reputation precedes him tremendously before the White House. I'm just like putting it that Arkansas people know that for sure. Yeah, and then our final one. SpaceX is aiming to deploy AI orbital data centers in outer space as early as 2026.
Makes sense.
Proposes advance includes solar power, 24 hours a day, cooling efficiency, that's outer space, it'll cool it just nice, reduce demand on Earth's resources. Also, keyword Skynet.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really data center in the outer space. Wait a minute, what's it thinking about? They didn't talk about that. Is that Grok
I feel like
going to process in outer space now?
I feel 2026 is going to be huge in the progression of things. Like I see a lot of in 2026 like this with technology, with space and new findings. I just feel like 2026 is going to be full of buffet of a lot of that with our tech and discoveries and so forth. So I do feel just kind of off topic with 2026, but this is kind of inspiring me that a lot of less heaviness that 2024 and 2025 brought, more of that discoveries in 2026. So I'm not surprised about this, especially for 2026. I'm not surprised that 2026 would be that year of a lot of progressions in that sense. Tech, space, discoveries.
I think it's true. I personally, I'm a little concerned actually that we're not really planning with how much junk we put up there. It's going to be safe to get like a trip up to the moon without hitting something. It's like criminy. I'll tell you this, we are defending ourselves. Any spaceship that wants to get through that crap is going to need like AI, it's going to be crazy, so now we've got a grid around us. But that's not surprising, putting data centers out in outer space. That's smart, I think really, considering they heat the Earth up and everything. But who knows? We'll probably find out that we heat the ozone from the other side now. Jesus. Not good. So, well, should we talk astrology? Yeah, it's early in the show. Or should we go to our commercial break?
Go to I think we have a little break, and then we can be prepared for our collective reads.
All right, let's take a look.
Happy holidays! I'm Sanandra, founder of CT Organics. For the past 30 years, our goal has been to bring the healing power of plants into your everyday life with simple, clean, organic skin and hair care made with love. CT makes a wonderful gift for the holidays. Enter code word JOY30 at checkout and you'll receive 30% off any individual CT skin and hair care product.
Happy holidays!
Did you know that discordant energies such as illness, trauma, violence, and depression can linger on a property for hundreds of years, going all the way back to the very beginning of that parcel of land? This can also happen with family heirlooms, antiques, or even previously owned furniture. If you've been feeling blocked in life, more ill than usual, or again just uncomfortable in your home, your space could be holding onto residual energies. Refresh My Property can help clear these energies remotely. Scan the QR code to get your free phone consultation today and begin clearing your space in your life.
Well, 3 great commercials, actually. I love CG. We talked about that last week. Amazing products, but also Refresh My Properties. I've been on property with you and Krista, and you guys are like telling me all the residual stuff in each house. That's legit. Things carry residual energy. So Refresh My
They
Properties.
sure do. They sure
Yeah.
do. I mean, and if we have abilities and we're not aware, then we can actually activate the residual energy in a place. If there's trauma there and you relate to the trauma, you can ignite that, causing supernatural, occurrences. So yeah, it's a real deal. I was thinking about getting too, like, I love houses and stuff. I was like, why don't I get my real estate license and be like a psychic realtor where I pick your home and clear the space out? I was thinking about that actually because I love houses. I love the home life, but yeah, the residual energy could definitely affect. And you can, if you have abilities, you can actually bring that onto yourself too and unconsciously. So yeah, it's very important that we clear our spaces, guys.
Scott, I told you that they'll be on this spring on Serious Joy TV. I think
Psychic realtor.
no, seriously. I've been thinking about that show for a long time. I haven't told you about it. I'm like, I think we should have you go look at houses. You know what I mean? Like, or something like, because you and Krista were amazing when I was walking through my stuff. It was really funny. You're both picking up on the same stuff. I think you need a second medium on there though, too, because it affirms and adds to. It's really powerful between the two of you.
Yeah. I'm definitely like, besides being like a medium channeling spirit, I'm definitely a good physical medium. Like a friend of mine he used to bring back this stuff from like England and Scotland, and he would like, okay, tell me about this. And I would touch it and read it, and he would know about it. And I'd tell him all about it. He's like, yep, wow, you're crazy. So
that's another show I had, which is like Psychic Antique Roadshow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's another one.
There you go.
On the air. Yeah, we should just have you do all kinds of stuff with your powers. And Salute Sante is actually cold pressed grapeseed oil, which, by the way, cold pressed means that it doesn't have chemicals, and so it's good oil, a good oil. Mm-hmm. It has I guess it has a high flame rate, which means you can cook it with all sorts of things and not, it doesn't burn and go that black smell or taste. It was developed by a man and his wife. The man was a professional gourmet chef, and it's what he wanted to cook with. So it's great. They're in California. They're good. They're a great company. Big part of Unite the Light. We're grateful for them.
Yeah. And grapeseed, I hope you understand, it's not, grapeseed oil is different from rapeseed oil. Rapeseed oil is not a good oil. It's grapeseed. So some people confuse the two.
Comes from a grape, which is really hard. They had a hard time. They invented the technology. They didn't have the tech to actually crush grape seeds because they're so damn hard, apparently. So he spent a lot of time working on that, and he swears by it. Eat a little a day and watch all the metrics of your blood system go into a phenomenal order. He says, just get a blood test, eat this stuff for a while, get a blood test, see what happens. Like, amazing stuff because it's good for you. But due to, I don't know, Crisco's deal with the government, we can only say that. Basically. So let's move on to the planets. We got a lot going on, folks. We got a killer full moon coming up here next Friday. We just had the new moon at 28 degrees. That new moon was intense. That new moon actually, sometimes something new. 28 Scorpio says, I'm holding space for a new world because it's step 0. It's the foundation. So we're holding space for a new world. And by the way, we have 6 consecutive holding space for new world, new moons. We had 1 in Libra. We'll have 1 in Scorpio, 1 in Sag, 1 in Capricorn, 1 in Aquarius, and 1 in Pisces. So if you hit half the year with new world, guess what you get? A new world. But I found what happens is a little bit of chaos, because when God makes some sort of a commandment for new, the old suddenly runs for the hills. Like all the old vibration starts to kind of run. So it was intense for me. I think that's what caused all my flushing. Saturn station is direct on Friday, November 28th at 25 degrees. So we're going to have Saturn move forward. That means we're going to get serious about things. Life gets a bit more serious. On Black Friday, shopping day this Friday, Venus will conjunct the Black Moon Lilith at 27 Scorpio. So that means people are going to face their fears head on, over Thanksgiving break, which is 1 week later this year. Kind of interesting. And then, of course, we have a full moon coming up. It's going to be at 13 degrees next Friday, a week from Friday. Thursday, a week from like a week and a half, a week and 1 day. I'm telling you right now because it's going to be a revolution. Expect people to speak the truth. Expect people to be loud and say it proud, and expect a little chaos. Because what this is that people, Scott, have not been living according to what they really believe. And it's going to start to get to you, and it's going to build up to a crescendo, and people are going to speak out. I imagine it's going to be good money traffic on X.com.
Well, I'm kind of going to continue on what I was saying last week about making the unseen seen, but a lot of that has to do with kind of removing the filters from your consciousness, and those filters I call beliefs. I did a show last week called Belief Detox because I think now it's time to really understand that that is what's congesting. What you're actually experiencing is what you may unconsciously believe or not believe. So it's trying to bring those beliefs to light. And I think now is the time that we need to be doing that. We'll be pushed and urged to do this. And so you remove a filter here, you see, well, I didn't see that part of reality. You move a filter here, whoa, I could see that part of reality. Move the front filter, then you realize, oh, I'm very objective. I could see more now. And so when you do see things clearly this way and you really understand how you're vibrating, then you understand how to maneuver around physical reality. You understand a calling here, a calling there. I got to get away from this energy there. You're maneuvering in the soup. And that's what the real law of attraction really is. You're understanding, you're feeling the poles and the currents of the what's attracting, what's repulsing you out. So when you understand that rhythm and that flow, then you can participate in life and see things the way you need to see them. You participate the way you want to participate and express what you want to express. And so I feel this time, a lot of people are pulling off those beliefs, those filters, and they're seeing things a lot clearly now. And I think, the chaos does come when you start seeing things clearly about relationships, and then you start seeing some of who they are and you call it out, boom, chaos. They're not going to like it. Or you start seeing that you're giving too much to people and you pull away, they're not going to like that either. There'll be chaos coming from that as well. And it might even be chaos because you're starting to recognize your beliefs are breaking down. What do I find next to believe in? What is my new point of view? So that could be somewhat chaotic in a sense too, but creation spawns from chaos. So let's understand, let's not be afraid of chaos. Let's understand that's a time of creating the new paradigm, the new version. So, but yeah, I just been seeing this lately especially moving to December, just removing filters, from our consciousness.
I guess I see the same thing, but from the bottom up. It's like you realize you haven't been true to you. And that's what I realized. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not really acting like how I really believe. I've been acting according to what people wanted me to believe that I was. You know what I mean? And then the consequence is all those beliefs being pulled out. Like, well, that means that's full. That means I'm leaving that club. Goodbye to that friend. Like this just stuff's happening as a result. But it's funny how, if you're an empath like we are, I was so sensitive growing up. I just wanted people to not be mad at me. You know what I mean? So it's like you kind of get tricked into it through your own sensitivity if you're just trying to be a people pleaser. And people say people pleaser is a bad thing, but it's a survival thing when you're a kid. It's not a bad thing. It's the only thing got you through. So.
Well, yeah. And I mean, for me, I just always felt responsible for people. And I'm just saying, but why? Like, why am I responsible for that of them? And for what purpose? It's like, okay, I want to help. I want to inspire. I want to, be an assistant somehow. But does it mean I'm responsible for how someone else feels? So, it was like years of just trying to shed that out and saying that it's okay to not be responsible. Because then I'm like, am I being cold now? Cold-hearted? It's like, no, it's called balance. It's called a boundary. If people need to be responsible for themselves, you can help them be responsible for themselves. They don't want to be, well, then you move on. And so, that's difficult to break down, because that's putting empathy in its balance. That's putting its empathy in check. Can't waste it.
Yeah. I just felt guilty because a lot of times I have the answer. I know that will help them. And so to have it not give to me always was a guilt trip. Like, I don't know, like I felt like I had, because I have this feeling that God sends, those to help always around us, right around us are the people we need. And so if I know from my experience or whatever, and this even at age 6, I do certain things, I felt like obligated to share. Yeah.
Right. I feel the same way too. Even something, if I found new music, I'm like, I got to share it, got to tell people. Or if I found like a new something that was good, like, yeah, I want to share it. And, I'm the same way too. But I think that's what love really is, but then we start understanding what self-love is too, like we were saying before about understanding real self-love, then you understand your boundaries and limitations too. And it's not like you get that you don't just throw shit away. You're more confined about what you're matching with and who's matching with you too. And I think that's a part of a lot of our learning curve here. of overly empathetic and, overly compassionate, fault.
What I'm finding is that now that I take actively love myself, which is hard, I just don't have time for those other ones. It's like, so it kind of works itself out organically.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. It has to.
You just have to pass because I got to take care of me. If I don't take care of me, there's no you. So yeah, interesting stuff. So what are we talking about this week? We're talking about gratitude.
Yeah. I mean, talking about self-love.
Someone told me a story I've never heard before, but they told me it was a foreigner. So like accent came from another country, but told me that, what Thanksgiving really was a massacre, and that history covered it up with a feast. Have you ever heard anything like that? I'm like, where did you hear that from? Like, I was like, that would be the world's craziest conspiracy ever, that was really a massacre. But he himself, I don't know, that might be because he's an immigrant. Like those are maybe the spook stories about coming to the United States. I don't know, but it really sat poorly with me. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, I never heard that.
Something like that happened, I would just be sick to myself.
Sure.
So the topic is grateful than great. Which is a good title. Why is the attitude of gratitude so helpful for spiritual energy, Scott? Why do we say this in our
Attitude
community?
of gratitude. Well, I think for me, gratitude is a technology. I mean, it's a power. It's a stream of consciousness. So you can use it as a tool. When you're having gratitude and or appreciation, you're boosting the value of something. And so if you're constantly boosting the value of something, that becomes more valuable. If you start, applying that in your life, and gratitude, you start realizing the value that you possess, and that starts a momentum of value. So when value increases, guess what happens when value increases? You start participating in things that are higher value. You start demanding more, which means that also creates more, I hate this word, it's so overused, but more abundance, right? You have more of that flow of that expansion of, I say creating value and appreciating, and value goes up is also where money appreciates and increases as well. So, so it could be very helpful. I don't know about for spiritual energy, what that means for spiritual energy. I mean, gratitude itself is an energy, but it can really be helpful as a tool. If you're looking to create things. So I always tell people, if you feel like stuck, why don't you start appreciating the phone that you have, start appreciating the little things you already have too. And, some people like our moms, like, what's next in my life? I'm like, your kids aren't grown yet. Like, once you start appreciating, be grateful that your mom that you wanted to be for so long, and then maybe find something else you're grateful for that exhibits your own energy too. So we can be more conscious that to me, it's a tool, gratitude. It's like a, I don't want to say a weapon, but it's a power.
I think it's a posture. I always say it's Serious Joy. Gratitude is the attitude of receiving. So it's like when you receive, and I have problems receiving, gratitude is the best way to receive. And if you think about bowing your head, it's like you're looking to your own heart, and you're showing them your crown. You're giving them your crown when you bow. And it's almost like you're basically putting them in light with God. You're basically saying, my crown is open to you through my heart. And so I almost think like, it's like you are surrendering to receive their gift in a spiritual way. And there's something about receiving that way that is the most humble way to receive, in my opinion, because you can do it without any I in it, but just grateful, but you're right. Gratitude is it's an energy of itself. It's a certain energy. And we all know what it is when you're really grateful. We know when people are ungrateful, and we know when people are ungrateful. You know what I mean? Really ungrateful, who just aren't thankful at all for what you've given. I do think that by being thankful, you're more approachable. So as far as the energy is concerned, I'd much rather give to a grateful person than a non-grateful person. And so I'm attracted to give to the grateful more than I am the ungrateful.
Right.
And so I feel like, if I just law of science, the grateful are getting more. Speaking to the abundance part, yeah,
it's true, and that's where you start attracting when you start understanding that technology of gratitude, because you start attracting, like you just said, and then you start wanting to engage more with things that are in front of you, so you're more clear about what's going on. Then you're more insightful, you're more intuitive, and so I mean, just that in itself can propel you forward in so many different ways because you're being in the now. That gratitude definitely helps you be more present too, and just like if a mother, like if parents give to their children and the children are ungrateful for the toys they got, why is the parents are gonna want to give more toys? They're like, well, fuck you then. Same thing with the universe. The universe ain't gonna help you out, or you're not gonna help yourself out spiritually if you're ungrateful for things and just not happy. Why would you need to have anything more if you're insatiable, right? So we got to look at those moments or parts of our lives where we're being insatiable and start applying some gratitude deliberately. It's a choice. Gratitude. It's not like I have to feel gratitude. Like you feel it when you choose it.
Yeah, I think it's the ego refusing to humble. Like people who are ungrateful, deep down inside, they thought they could have done better. And it's like, it's a fucking gift, dude. How can you do better? But it's like it's almost like they think they could have gotten better. They see it as something around, they see it as a reflection of them only, the ungrateful people. And they're kind of living the world with their hand out anyways. You know what I mean? Those
True.
people.
Yeah. I mean, they're looking for the physicality, not so much about the gesture or the connection. They're just like, what am I getting? What am I receiving? They're so hyper focused on receiving that it depends on what the object is, not so much the act of the connection with someone who is actually participating with them. So those people are just materialistic to me.
And I think they have no self-confidence because they need proof that they're valuable, or need proof that they're important, and it's insatiable, more and more and more and more, which tells me it's ego,
Yeah. Well, they need a thing to feel better, right? They need a thing to feel better about. These things make me feel happy now versus just, being the state just because. Because.
If you're a great person, you're great before you even walk out of that door. Before you do anything, you're great. And there's a pride in it, not an arrogance, because it takes work. So much work and self-reflection to be great, whatever that means to you. Yeah.
And you have a point there too, because the more work I've done on myself to see what's really important, I get so excited about the stupidest little things. These stupid little things that someone gives, or stupid things to find, like, oh my God, like you naturally start appreciating things when you know where you're at, where you stand with yourself. Because then you start understanding that, like, it's the momentum of life that you start really falling in love with. Not what you're getting, not what you don't have, not what you need to manifest. It's more about, like, I'm in a state of being, like, I know I can feel whatever I want to feel, and I know where I stand with myself. I don't need the external stuff. So therefore, every little thing, every movement of life, you fall in love with. And that's where I've been at in my life right now, in that stage.
That explains what I saw before the show. Anyways.
I quickly put on a shirt too. Okay.
You're right though. I feel to some degree when you're grateful, I don't know, from my perspective of belief, that I believe that we are what we attract. I'm really grateful to myself for having attracted that. Really, it's like, oh my God, I'm so grateful that I pulled this off. I'm so grateful I didn't mess this up. I'm so grateful for this person seeing it, and I'm grateful to them for doing it and rising to the cause, because it's still, even though you might law of attraction to you, this person still wanted to be there, wanted to give to you, wanted to love you. So, I'm just kind of grateful that the matrix works, in that sense too. Just like, thank God, because it looks bad a lot of times. It just looks bad. Oprah talks about gratitude with abundance. I think we covered that. What impact does gratitude have in getting you into your heart chakra and out of your mind? Is it a reframing tool?
Well, duh. I mean, because I always say when people want to put gratitude first, sometimes I always feel like gratitude is a result if you are coming from the heart, and if you are feeling, what's in front of you, and I mean that figuratively and literally, then I also feel like then you can't help to enjoy and appreciate, right? And so I think that, gratitude is a natural result from coming from the heart. But just like the yin yang symbol, you can also access your heart from gratitude. So the yin yang sign has like the light, but there's a little doorway to dark, and there's dark little doorway to light. You can always cross connect. That's the same thing here with gratitude too. You can cross connect. If you want to be heart, use gratitude to get to your heart. If you are coming from your heart, you'll naturally experience gratitude. So yeah, I really feel like it has a huge impact because it's a realness. Right? Gratitude doesn't come from a place of superficiality.
Well, it comes from the heart. You can only come from the heart. Real gratitude can only come from the heart. Sometimes, I think it is a good tool to get you into your heart. When things, sometimes when, like with my son, or, raising him, he would be ungrateful for certain things. And I would be like, remember the time when this horrible thing happened and you got through it okay? Are you grateful you got through that? And like, it just kind of resets his parameters. Like, he's like, oh, realize the gravity. We take things for granted.
Mhm.
which is, probably being ungrateful when we take things for granted, and it does keep your heart open because only the heart can be truly grateful. The mind really can't. It's not in a convincing way.
Well, and it's difficult during loss. I had a regular client of mine. She was saying like she had like I think $15,000 worth of jewelry stolen, and she's like, I don't have anything, and she was like in this pity, like despair and stuff. Like I have nothing left, and it's like I told her, I said, just FYI, I have 3 clients that lost their homes in the Palisades, like complete everything, and they didn't have insurance because insurance got canceled 2 weeks before, so they were just
Whoa.
completely out. 3 clients of mine.
Got
Yeah,
canceled. Let's investigate that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, because we all think that we all been saying like it's obviously was planned because like 2 weeks before the insurance lapsed or insurance that get canceled before, and and so there's a pattern there. And I was telling my client, I said just like you could have lost your house and everything, and they lost all the memorabilia. And she's like, yeah, that's true. I am thinking about that as well. And I said, let's be simple because, we're going to lose something monetary. We're going to lose something that's physical. And so it's always about what we have here in the heart that's going to make that not matter anymore, And so, and then we started, then you really appreciate every little thing, that you have. Right. And so like, I've got myself in the habit of like, even with my phone, I appreciate. So I like clean it down, make sure it's clean with my computer, my tech. I clean it down because I appreciate it. Allows me to do the work that I want to do. And so I appreciate that every day. I keep it clean. I wipe it down, And so like we need to start doing more of that, because then otherwise we become insatiable. I need more. 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 And it just never stops. And you just need things, more things. More conditions. It's like, that's kind of the wrong way of going about it. But of course, it's a reframing tool. 100%. We just kind of said that.
I always like more, but like then it reaches a perfect, and I'm happy. Like I'm like, this is perfect. I'm just happy with this. If anything, it then stays perfect. And like, Dad, your bedroom looks like the 70s. It's perfect. Like I'm still thinking it's perfect. So
perfect for the 70s.
Yeah, I'm a 70s kid. What can I tell you? Okay, is a gratitude practice important? I don't know. A practice is kind of faking it, isn't it? Like there's an orgasm, fake your orgasm. It's like you can't fake gratitude. It has to be genuine. I don't know if you can do a practice.
Well, some of these points here are a little redundant. So, is a gratitude practice important? It's just be mindful if you are or not. I would just say that. If you're not, perhaps you need to reevaluate your life. If you're not finding things to have gratitude about and so forth. So, so in that sense, to practice in that sense, like we said, to open the door to the heart, of course, it's important. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's not important.
I think it's practical is like food. I like blessing food and being grateful for the food. I'm like, thanks, animal, for dying for me. Thank you, rice, for living just for me. Thank you. I do practice gratitude. So gratitude practice I have is like food. A lot of times I'll be grateful in this house. I love this house I live in. It just makes me feel so much better as a human. I don't know what it is. It's just perfectly energetically me. So I'm grateful for that every day.
And who picked that one? And who picked the energy of that one? Of that house?
You did. There's no energy here. Like it's really clean as a whistle.
I knew that energy is more for what you needed there, than the others.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really perfect. But I'm grateful for that stuff. Is gratitude an emotion or a frequency?
Well, it's like I said in the beginning. To me, it's a technology. It's a power. I think gratitude can evoke emotion. But gratitude is a state of being. It's a state of consciousness. It's a power. It's an energy. I like for people to see it this way, so we can pull it out whenever we want to. But I think that when we do tap into gratitude, we can feel love, we could feel warmth, we could feel compassion, we could feel appreciation, right? So, I think it's more of a catalyst to express emotion. So do I think gratitude is emotional self? Yeah, it could be. It's a feeling too, right? But I think
I think all feelings are sensations of vibration. That's what a feeling is.
Exactly.
It's the experience of the vibrations, experience of the frequency.
Right.
Yeah, so
collapsing it into physical.
Totally, yeah, with chemicals known as hormones. What's the connection between gratitude and psychological safety? Psychological safety? Is anybody psychologically safe? The neuroscience of gratitude. Gratitude activates the parasympathetic nervous system, calming the body and resting the mind. Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. How do you say it?
Parasympathetic.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. Okay. What's it work?
Calming the body, resetting the mind. Well, I don't understand the psychological safety. I don't understand really that, but I do say this: if you do practice gratitude and you are allowing yourself to be appreciative, then I feel like then it does create a version of your awareness that says, I can make do and be very resourceful. And that's one thing with limitation I had, being grateful for my limitations. I was able to be very resourceful with the limitations and create scores for major networks at home, out of the box, right? People are like, so I really feel like having that sort of gratitude can bring a psychological awareness that you can do more and be resourceful and be in situations and take advantage of the situations, whatever is presented to you. That's what I feel where it could be a psychological safety in a sense.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I agree with this. I mean, it does release these chemicals in the body, but I think that's, again, probably producing the feeling of gratitude. Like these are synthesizing gratitude, reduces cortisol, increases dopamine and serotonin. This is just a cocktail to feel good is what this is. And so the fastest ways to break the adrenaline loop. Interesting. Yeah, I think it's psychological safety. I don't know. I think you have to feel safe to have gratitude. If you don't feel safe, you're not going to be able to get in that gratitude mode, actually.
Yeah, I mean, but again, anything that is a positive vibe, a good feeling is going to reduce cortisol. Cortisol rises from stress and bad dieting, bad eating, So, and when you feel good, of course, you're going to increase your dopamine. And so I think these are great techniques or practices you can do to do such and to look. It's not that hard to find gratitude for something. It's not very hard, to reach that level. So, like I said, it's a choice. And if you choose it, then yes, it can definitely calm the body. Because I feel like what happens is it's not that just gratitude itself reduces cortisol. I feel like you then process things differently and know how to manage stress better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's not easy to reach for gratitude when you're angry or anything else like that. It's hard. It's a real discipline. You have to kind of force it in. I have to imagine worse times. I have to go to extremes to bring the gratitude on in that case. And I'm not grateful when I'm first angry. I think you have to allow that to happen and process.
Of course. Yeah, anger is an emotion that can be very helpful too. People just want to not feel negative emotion. Like, we got to feel negative emotion too. They're just equal messengers of strength and power and redirection. So
yeah, it's all important. How does gratitude help in leadership?
And as we lead out loud, what's that? Yeah, they left the part out. Leadership. Again, it's forming connections. If the leadership, you have to have a community of people too. So you don't lead by yourself, and so I really feel like gratitude also helps at forming connections, and like you appreciate people coming and you want to listen. So many people are just waiting for the next connection or opportunity that they just miss out all the other connections that form around them. And then they don't end up leading, they end up following in a sense. But if we're allowing ourselves to appreciate the connections that we're making and understand how we're evolving with them, then yeah, we could totally, allow ourselves to be leading and so forth, and appreciating those who are also seeking our assistance. And so it keeps us humble. I think a lot of times gratitude will keep us humble, so we don't let things go to our head, but then we actually, like I said before, be very resourceful with community, right? The connections that we make. So absolutely can, be great assistance with leadership in that sense,
I think you have to be grateful. I mean, we should go into any talk with any nation and tell them what we're grateful for before we even start the talks. You know what I mean? I think it's the best thing to do. Because everyone plays a part in the world. Everyone contributes, so it's nice to be, acknowledge where you see the other person has contributed, where the other person has given, and sort of from that perspective, it certainly brings the tone down right away to a humility, like you said, Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, we get when, especially in leadership, like you make a lot of different connections. Like there's a lot of attraction going on with people, and you get to really admire. Like I'm even people I was so abrasive. I always find something to be appreciative of that connection. You know, especially when I was in the music industry and had just like, disgusting people, you know, in higher positions say shit. And they would say one thing that stood out for me, like, no, they're an asshole, but like, I really appreciate what they said here because that's a really good asset to my life. So instead of just like shutting it down completely. So if we can find something to be grateful for the experience on, we'll always grow and evolve, and we will lead by example always. Always, because we're always 10 steps ahead. And that's what leadership, that's what people who are leading and people in leadership really do, Christopher, is they constantly are growing and evolving and trying to seek a better version no matter what happens.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I'm usually lately grateful for the, the hardship. You know, I've had a lot of people do wrong, but
Yeah.
I've been grateful to what I've learned from it, because I realized, well, I could have learned from someone else or a stranger, so learning from those who are close to me has been in a way easier probably than from someone not, but also harder in some ways. But a lot of times the way I get past that is the gratitude. Like, I'm grateful I learned this. I'm grateful I learned this now. I'm grateful I learned this, before it went too far, and that's how I kind of walk through the pain sometimes. Just gratitude. It's good for that as well. I'll say that as well.
Yeah. And that's kind of leads us to the last point about gratitude in relationships. It's kind of really, what we're saying before, the same thing, and you see someone for who they really are. When you have more gratitude for somebody that you're in a relationship with, you probably be more in tune to them and not so defensive. I think that where we come from a place of need most times, we stay stuck in need mode, then we don't get to appreciate. We're always needing more from somebody. And so when we pacify that and come to resolve with ourselves, not needing from other people, then we can appreciate those that show up and really get a good glimpse and good realization of what the relationships really mean toward us. So, but I mean, because there's things that, like, people are not perfect, and so it doesn't mean you take abuse either. We talk about boundaries a lot of times too, but there's sometimes people just being people in our lives, and that if we're grateful for what they bring to the table, then we wouldn't shut them out. They wouldn't shut us out. Because there's things to be grateful for in those relationships. And if you're in a relationship, there's nothing to be grateful for, then move along. It's time to move on.
I think gratitude is essential in a romantic relationship, because it's just so close and tender. And when you get that close and hearts are that inflamed, to come in grateful for what they offer allows you to go into what you need. Like, to bring up that topic, it's like, you're doing so much. I could use some support over here. It's like, you don't ever want to look like criticism of the other person, but if something your heart needs, I think it's a great way to start off with what you're so grateful for already, because acknowledging what they do for you already and how they sacrifice already, or how they're so giving already, is important. Because I think the hardest thing is being loving and giving, and the person not seeming to appreciate it or take it for granted. It's like, it seems like people don't appreciate what it takes, or really appreciate what it takes that person to take time off and help you, or whatever they did. Like, that took time out of their day. I don't have time in my day, so when people do that, I'm extremely grateful. If anything, in those cases, I don't know if gratitude is enough, and I just hope they receive the gratitude at that point, in my heart, how much I mean it, so I think in relationships it's extremely important to be grateful. Yeah.
Totally.
And
so,
go ahead.
I was saying, what I'm really grateful for?
Right.
I'm going on 13 years of doing my readings and my sessions. 13 years. So of course, it's been psychic being my whole life, but to be able to, and those who don't know, I was working as a composer for TV and film, doing quite well. That's my passion, doing music and licensing music. But the spiritual side of me was always left hidden. Right. And I didn't want to be a circus freak. So I do it on the side, read people, secretly. And when Spirit pushed me in the spotlight with it, and it turned into a huge thing, I'm grateful for all that. 13 years, next year will be 13 years. And so professionally in that sense, but a lifetime of psychic mediumship. So I'm really grateful for that. I'm grateful for my clients. And speaking of that, I do have, I've opened up December for bookings. So we have our holidays. So I'm grateful for Thanksgiving. So get your bookings in, scottcruzpm.com, life readings, mediumship sessions, intuition builder sessions, whatever you need for holidays. And I think I'll be doing a short promo next week too, of letting all my downloads on my online store for free for the month of December. So as a gift, appreciation, free downloads. And so I'll be sending out on my email list codes for all that. I have hypnosis audios and all that stuff. So I can, that'll be my gift in December. So scottcruzpm.com. We got a little bit of a commercial for that too.
I'm grateful for this.
Scott Cruz is popularly known for his life-changing one-on-one readings to also guide in your soul ascension journey. With life readings, get insight into your relationships, career, health, trauma healings, past life regressions, and more. Want to connect with a loved one who's transitioned? Scott's mediumship session can be the gateway to you and your loved ones in spirit, bridging the gap between the physical and the spiritual realm. If you want to enhance your own psychic ability, Scott's Intuition Builder session can help expand your psychic and mediumship abilities. So sign on to scottcruzpm.com to book your own personal session today.
What a
Okay.
ride that was.
That was fun. I love our cosmic journeys, and I love how we're dancing. We're always into some sort of explosion or death. I've noticed, but
I know, I do mine too. It's funny.
that's cool. I want to say what I'm grateful for. Serious Joy was grateful to all of our subscribers and people who ever even tried us out. So we sent out basically gift scholarships for a class that we have coming up here starting this Sunday. And also actually starts a week from Sunday, but we have our orientation on Sunday. It's Mastering Self-Love. So for 14 weeks, we're doing like a workshop on Sundays. It's not really a class, it's a workshop. It's a practice lab workshop. We're going to work together. We're going to break into groups, and we're based on your sign, your astrology. The scholarship period is over. We've given them out, and now we're selling it to the general public. You can go to seriousjoy.academy if you'd like to be a part of this. And you do buy a 4-month subscription only to Serious Joy, because I'm going to be sending out stuff about your chart the whole time. And this is all preparation for April, because I feel like shifts get hit the fan in April. So we got about 16 to 18 weeks before that happens. So we're going to be basically preparing people to hold the self-love vibration while shift gets a rockin'. So seriousjoy.academy if you'd like to be a part of that. And I'm grateful for all of our subscribers and everyone who's been a customer. I was happy to give out the scholarships. It was our gift to you.
Sounds good.
Mhm.
And next week we're talking about crafting your inner compass. So that'll be for next week's show.
Oh, an inner compact, huh?
Inner
No.
compact, our inner GPS, basically. So
Well, we have a little time left. How do you feel about Thanksgiving? I mean, this is kind of a weird holiday in a way, because it seems like, at least I went to your Thanksgiving at your house. It was very nice. We did one year in my house. It was nice. When you're amongst people you really love, it's really nice. But like that whole force thing or whatever, it seems like a lot of families are just in the practice of, and certainly not thankful,
Well, and I think that, at some point they will get that way. I mean, I think that it just, these holidays are great now because it allows us time to kind of stop and reflect and gives an emphasis to what we should be doing, and so, and I think that it keeps people sane for the most part, even if they're not completely diving in. So, I think it's a good opportunity to really connect. It gives us time. These holidays give us time to stop at the mundane, it gives us time to stop that, rabbit hole that we're always in. So that's what I've kind of looked at holidays for me now. At first I went through like, oh my God, so sensationalized. And then I got out of that mentality and I'm like, no, these are good things for us to recharge. It's a holiday for a reason, so.
I'm grateful for that. It's interesting because I was saying this before the show. Astrologically, we usually have Thanksgiving over step 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4 of Sagittarius. So you're usually in that very beginning. So you're like with your family. And from step 0 to 3, the question is, what do I believe about myself? So we update this belief about ourselves. Now, what's interesting is every year we update this belief about ourselves based on our family around, right? Or what we consider to be family, excuse me. Some make still grumbling. So we always do that with a company of like what we aren't. Usually it's what we aren't. It's like it affirms our belief about what we are by being around what we're not. This year we have Thanksgiving, and it's going to be like on step 6, which is I receive, and step 7, and step 5, I think too. So it's going to be ultimately this time of, step 4 is starting now, if I'm not mistaken. So step 4 actually. That's interesting. So it's going to be breakdown breakthrough energy. It's going to be fascinating too. So the point is like we're going to be, so this year we go through that period of crafting our belief. We're in a different astrological mindset than we normally are, because it just happened to come later in the month. That last week, because the 30th is Sunday, right? So
Yep.
yeah, usually it's 1 week prior. I don't even know why it got moved. I don't understand. Who does that? Who decides to move Thanksgiving?
Who was? What did you say? What was Thanksgiving? What was the last one?
Decides to move Thanksgiving?
Oh,
right?
God, who knows?
Whose job is that?
So the powers that be, right? It's the reptilians. It's the Rockefellers, Eric.
Thankful halfway this way. Yeah,
Buzzword. The Rockefellers. So
Rockefellers, yeah, probably is.
I mean, there's so many different holidays, but again, like we can look at that and just say it's a time that we can actually emphasize. We could use that as a moment to really charge and use it, wisely, I would say. So.
I'm always amazed that I have nothing to do. Like for me, it's like, oh my God, it's like 4 o'clock. I have nothing to do, because usually we take time off. We even work adjust and things like that. And like having a 4-day week in the United States is huge, right? Of course, we go spend a ton of money on Black Friday, stuff like that, and try to get our deals in. But it's interesting to have. The United States is so go. When we get a chance to sit, things happen. And what the astrology shows is what's going to happen is you're going to consider really to live life by what you believe, maybe for the first time in your whole life. And you should know that your brothers and sisters are in the same place. Everyone's in the same place. Everyone's kind of tired of the facade. I think everyone's tired of being who they need. And I think we're so tired of it that we don't care what people think anymore. That's what I feel. What do you pick up, Scott?
I mean, it's the same. I mean, it's like we were saying in the very beginning with the weather, the zodiac weather and so forth and the reads. It's like, I just feel like people are just seeing things differently. That's all. They're making their true value visible for themselves. And so that's going to create a new paradigm. And so I really feel like 2026 is a lot of that kind of realization, period too. So, and we've gone through the superficial era. People are sick of the Kardashians. People are sick of all that crap, and I really feel like COVID was a blessing in disguise to kind of push this further, quicker into gear with our consciousness and collective consciousness. What's really important. I just was home. I didn't have to get dressed. What am I spending so much time doing? So I feel like the COVID isolation really helped us to kind of get past a lot of these things. Celebrity culture, dying, converting, not really believing everything you're told. Right. And people questioning, do I really feel this belief? Do I resonate with this belief? A lot of people saying, no, I don't. Something's not right, And so, and I think that even the expansion of conspiracy theories are just people, they might be wrong on certain things, but they know something's off. So a lot of people are feeling that, a lot of people are feeling like there's something not right. There's something there's a truth that's being hidden from us. So I think collectively we're all experiencing that to a certain degree, and so I think those who've been putting their heads in the sand are going to, be forced to take their heads out of the sand. Those who've been coddling, I would say, fake gurus and fake leaders. They're going to come to a false, not a false, but a real awakening about who they've been following and so forth too. So just a lot of that, newness, freshness, about to happen. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, like AI is pretty new. That's pretty shocking. I agree with you. I feel like, believing in yourself. See, the thing is, when you believe in yourself first, then you'll believe what you feel is true. And so I think this is a revolution right now. By believing myself and what my heart's telling me, then I know there's something up. I can feel it. It's like, and that's the thing. We underestimate the power of our feelings. The feeling is the sensation of a vibration. So when you feel something's off, you feel the vibration is off. Okay. Yep. It is not what it used to be. And that is a real signal. And it's not scientific yet, but it will be at some point. We'll be able to read these things with instruments, and we'll be able to tell you, yes, indeed, the vibe that Chris is putting off is not registering what it usually is. It totally, and we biologically, intuitively pick up on these things anyway. So I agree. I feel this conspiracy, if anything, conspiracy might be so wild that it prepares you for the truth, which may even be more wild or less wild, but you're prepared, so I don't think it's false. People really don't gravitate to things that don't hook them on the inside. And the reason why it hooks you is because there's something there to it. There's something about it, that seems true. Like the moon landing being false. There's something about that don't feel right when I think about the moon landing. I'm sorry, it just feels odd. It just does feel wrong. Like I don't know what it
Yeah.
was. So it's like we didn't even been honest about that. But it's like if the United States has been that false to us, then it's like, can they even admit one wrongdoing? I don't know. At that
Yeah.
point, people are going to be upset. But it looks like these new moons at 28 degrees, they go for 6 months to March, and then come Aries, hell or high water, people will say, I am what I believe about myself. And that goes for the radicals who are way off and for the ones who are right on. And that is what we call the frequency wars, which I think officially began, which is who can drum louder, basically, who can drum louder and beat their own chest louder. So we'll see. We will have a comfortable holiday, though, I think, both Thanksgiving and also over Christmas, Hanukkah.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
Well, Scott, I'm grateful for you.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate you too. And I'm grateful for me too, Christopher.
I'm grateful for all the videos you do that demoralize me. And I'm grateful for how you dominate the second act with your advertising. And I'm grateful for
This is a short one commercial. Jesus, wasn't
No,
like
I'm just
3.
teasing you. I was teasing you. I just know where to pitch.
I
Yeah, and
know.
we're grateful for you, the viewer. Thank you for sticking with us. We've been through a lot of transformation, and
Sure have.
Scott and I are excited about where things are going in the future. We're having fun with AI. We're doing all sorts of neat stuff. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for leading out loud. Thanks for being there for us. We appreciate you.
Good night, guys. Appreciate you too. Have
Good
a
night.
great, wonderful Thanksgiving, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Good night.
Save me some cranberries.
We got to find out when is our
Okay.
two-year anniversary of the show.
When is it?
I said we got to find out. Like,
Oh, yeah,
when,
yeah. Coming
because
up.
I think it's coming up on 2 years.
Not like that. Yeah.
Because I mean, we've had 2 United Lights already.
Yeah, we have. That's true, actually. It was right on Unite the Light that we actually debuted.
We debuted. Yes, we did it before United Light. Yeah, we started.
Yeah. I feel like an Aries. Coming up.